What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Kyle Johnson. Thank you so much for stopping by. So, it has happened. Elimination Chamber has officially passed, and we're going to talk about it. I'm going to go through each and every one of the matches. I'm going to tell you, some highlights that happened, in my opinion. I'm going to tell you overall what I thought of the match, where I think WWE might be going from here, and we're just going to talk about what I thought about the show overall. So if you enjoy this video and more WWE content like it, be sure to give me a subscribe because I will be back on this channel every single week with brand new wrestling videos. Let's get into Elimination Chamber 2026. So I actually didn't get to watch this show live. I was working the night of the show, so I didn't get to watch it live, unfortunately. I did watch it the next morning, Sunday morning, so that's why this review is a little bit late. I'm getting it done as soon as I can. And it was crazy because I had to like literally turn off my phone all night so that I didn't get any spoilers whatsoever. I tried so hard to avoid spoilers. I did get one spoiler, and we will talk about it in the video, which was unfortunate. But we're going to talk about the show. I didn't get any of the chamber matches spoiled, which was important because that was the ones I really didn't want to get spoiled. But anyway, let's get into the video. The show kicked off with the Women's Elimination Chamber match. Now, right off the bat, I gotta say, this was match of the night. Hands down. The Women's Elimination Chamber match was so freaking good. All six of these women really cooked in this match. The thing that I really liked about it was that they really gave shine to the newer stars in the matches, or the stars who weren't like your established main event players. You obviously had Alexa Bliss, Rhea Ripley, and Tiffany Stratton, who are your main event players. But then you had Kiana James and Raquel Rodriguez. Raquel is a bigger main event name, or at least she's getting to that point. But Kiana James, brand new to the main event scene. And I gotta say, they were like the two MVPs of this match. Kiana James started the match with Tiffany Stratton. They had a pretty good back and forth. I think they brought Alexa Bliss in after that, and Kiana James was hanging with these two main event players. In fact, Kiana James hung on for a little bit. We had some really cool spots like Alexa Bliss doing a twisted bliss off the pod onto everybody but Kiana James. Kiana James moved out of the way at the last second, which led pretty quickly to Bliss's elimination. Alexa Bliss caught Kiana James in a Sister Abigail, but Asuka hit Alexa Bliss with the mist, allowing Kiana James to roll her up and eliminate Alexa Bliss. Now, if you saw my Elimination Chamber predictions, obviously I predicted Alexa Bliss to win. So it was really jarring that she got eliminated first for me. I wasn't a big fan of that, but I got over it pretty quickly. So now I don't know what Alexa does at WrestleMania. That's pretty unfortunate. And it sucks to see her get eliminated first. I honestly thought Kiana James was going to get eliminated first, but that didn't happen. Raquel got into this match and she absolutely cleaned house. She was a beast. She was a monster. She eliminated both Asuka and Kiana James simultaneously, Roman Reigns style. She just looked like a beast. We had this really cool spot where Rhea Ripley did like a front flip off the pod to Raquel on the second rope, and they both went like down to the ground. I thought that was a really cool spot. And of course, Raquel ended up getting eliminated, leaving Tiffany Stratton and Rhea Ripley as your final two. At this rate, I kind of had an idea who was going to win since my prediction got eliminated. I basically knew who was going to win basically after Alexa got eliminated. Rhea Ripley and Tiffany Stratton had a brief back and forth. Rhea Ripley hit a riptide on Tiffany Stratton to win the match. So now it looks like we're getting Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill at WrestleMania for the WWE Women's Championship. This match was so fun. I think by far one of my favorite spots in the entire match was Raquel Rodriguez blasting Kiana James through a pod. Like she went like all the way through it too and out the other side. Like, that was such a cool spot. This match was full of insane, inventive, really cool spots, and I think all 6 of these women delivered. This is by far my match of the night. Next, let's talk about the Women's Intercontinental Championship match between AJ Lee and Becky Lynch. Now, unfortunately, this is the match that got spoiled for me. I saw a picture on somebody else's phone of Triple H posing with AJ Lee backstage with the Intercontinental Championship. So that was a bummer. Even though I kind of predicted AJ to win, I kind of figured she was going to win. I do think it took a lot of the interest out of the match for me. The match started off pretty slow, pretty technical, which honestly I didn't expect coming from these 2 women. They had a little bit of a blood feud going on. I expected them to just go fists and hands flying at each other to start this match, but they started pretty slow and pretty technical, which I didn't hate, but it was definitely a surprise. They wrestled a pretty good technical match at the beginning before they really got into things. Now, when I say knowing who was going to win the match took a little bit of the interest out for me, I mean that because I did actually go back and watch this match twice because there was a really cool near fall where Jessica Carr got taken out briefly and Becky Lynch hit a manhandle slam on a chair to AJ Lee. And I saw a lot of reactions from other creators where they really believed in the near fall and it was like a really good near fall. And I think I might have had a better reaction to that near fall had I not known who was going to win the match. So it is unfortunate that I got that spoiled because that near fall didn't really hit as hard for me. I thought the ref shenanigans were pretty weird in this match. Jessica Carr kind of got ran into in the corner by both women and then kind of went straight into a pin and got straight back up like it didn't even matter. And then she went down again. So I don't even know what the first bump was even meant to do, to be totally honest with you. Because Jessica Carr didn't even really sell it. She kind of was like, oh, like that hurt, and then went straight into a pin and then got back up. Like it didn't really land for me. Obviously, the second bump was to get the steel chair involved and have Becky try to cheat to retain the title. We know that, but it felt a little clunky to me. But yes, in the end, AJ Lee did win the Women's Intercontinental Championship, and I do think this is a good move. I think this is going to build a lot of intrigue going into WrestleMania, and I'm glad to see AJ win the title. Next up, we had the match between CM Punk and Finn Balor. Now, I was really disappointed with this match, to be totally honest with you. I don't think it was necessarily a bad match, but I think it was a bad idea. It was a bad setup. I said it in my predictions video, but like the fact that they set up Roman versus Punk already, like they should have started that on this episode of Raw post Elimination Chamber. Because since they started it before that, there was no chance in hell Finn Balor was ever going to win the title. And you already did the match in Dublin. I think it was in Dublin. Somewhere in Ireland. I don't remember. They did do that title match. I thought that match was infinitely better than this match. I think the intrigue, again, like the AJ Lee match, I think the intrigue was just taken out of this match. And without intrigue, a match doesn't really have much to stand on. CM Punk did have a really cool Chicago Bulls style entrance that I thought was pretty cool for being in the United Center. And of course, CM Punk retained the title at the end and shared that moment with his wife, the new Intercontinental Champion, AJ Lee. They both celebrated in the ring in their hometown. I thought that was a pretty cool moment. And then we had the infamous box segment. And as predicted, Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce opened the box to reveal Danhausen. Danhausen had a new theme song. He had dancers. He walked all the way to the ring. It was his whole presentation, this whole debut. And I've seen a lot of people on the internet getting upset about it, like getting upset that it's Danhausen. And I gotta say, if you're disappointed by the reveal, that is entirely your fault. If you watched my predictions video, I put zero expectations on this box. I had a feeling it was going to be underwhelming. And I literally said in the video, best case scenario is Danhausen. I saw people getting pissed that, like, oh, it wasn't Chris Jericho, it wasn't Vince McMahon. People wanted Vince McMahon in the box, which is absolutely insane to me. They're like, oh, it was just Danhausen. Like, you should be grateful that it was Danhausen. Like, it could have been like a massive sponsorship announcing their new partnership with Dude Wipes. Like, it could have been something incredibly stupid like that. So Danhausen really was the best case scenario here. Now, look, am I thrilled and excited that Danhausen is in WWE? No, I'm not, right? Like, and I think his debut really didn't hit that hard. It probably shouldn't have been on a PLE because it didn't hit very hard because like I understand this too because like my brother and my dad, they're very casual wrestling fans, and I guarantee you, you know, they were watching the clips from Elimination Chamber, like who the hell is this guy, right? Because the mainstream audience really probably doesn't even know who Danhausen is. So I don't think Danhausen was worth like a 3 week buildup that they gave this surprise. I maybe would have done this on the night of, maybe like on the pre-show, a crate a lot arrived to the Elimination Chamber, and they're like, "What the hell is this?" Like, and then reveal it the night of. I think that would have hit a lot better than maybe building this up for weeks on end. I don't think Danhausen was necessarily worth that. So yes, I'm not entirely thrilled that Danhausen is a part of WWE. I'm not upset that he's a part of WWE. I'm just not excited about it really. But out of all the things that could have been in that crate, I think Danhausen was our best case scenario. So like I didn't dislike this segment. I didn't love this segment. It was kind of just okay for me. Although I do have to say the actual presentation of Danhausen was pretty cool. In an era of Def Rebel, he actually had a really fun theme song, I thought. And the presentation with the dancers is and everything like that, I thought was a pretty cool presentation. It was a fun presentation for Danhausen. So that was pretty cool, at least. And then we had the men's elimination chamber match, which, in my opinion, greatly disappointed. We started the match off with Cody Rhodes and Javon Evans, which I thought was going to be amazing. They didn't really do anything special. You added Trick Williams in there. Trick Williams did like a double bookend, which was pretty cool on Trick and Cody. But other than that, there's not really much to talk about. Logan Paul was the main talking point of this match, which it isn't surprising now that Logan Paul got put in this match. Yes, this match got put through a ton of changes leading up to this match, which is crazy. And I think maybe that's what made it not that good because it went through change after change after change. It was supposed to be Bronson Reed, but then he got injured and Jey Uso got into the match, and then Jey Uso got written off on SmackDown, and Logan Paul took his place. It was clear they had to put another member of the Vision in that match for the eventual Masked Man spot. But Logan was getting quite the buildup. You know, he got thrown off the pod once, but other than that, he was doing pretty good. He eliminated Javon Evans. He eliminated LA Knight. He eliminated Trick Williams. He got 3 eliminations in this match. He eliminated half the field. Of course, that was all to build up this Masked Man spot, which finally did get revealed and was revealed to be, you guessed it, Seth Rollins. I wish I could have been more excited about this reveal, and I am genuinely happy to see Seth Rollins back. But I think without any of the original members of the Vision there, it really doesn't hit hard at all. Like Logan Paul and Austin Theory joined after Seth Rollins got injured. Like there's no history there. So how is Seth Rollins going to feud with 2 guys that weren't even involved in kicking him out of the Vision in the first place? Yes, there is the thing of Seth would be going after Paul Heyman, and Logan Paul and Austin Theory would be protecting him. That makes a lot of sense, but it definitely would have hit harder as a Braun Breaker feud or even a Bronson Reed feud. And it concerns me because I genuinely don't know who Seth Rollins is going to face at WrestleMania. All we can do is hope and pray that Braun Breaker gets the green light before WrestleMania, but that does seem like a long shot. The ending spot of the match was really cool. We did have Drew McIntyre run in immediately after the Masked Man spot and attack Cody Rhodes. And then Randy Orton came in, saved Cody Rhodes, hit an RKO on Drew McIntyre into a Cody Rhodes crossroads, and in an amazing finish. Once Cody got up from the crossroads, Randy immediately hit an RKO on Cody. And I love that dynamic of like Randy Orton did help his friend from being attacked by Drew McIntyre, but he also didn't hesitate to win the match, which he said he wasn't going to. Like he was willing to help his friend get rid of Drew McIntyre, but he wasn't willing to let that cost him the match. He learned that at Night of Champions. And now Randy Orton is your Elimination Chamber winner, which I think is an amazing decision. If you guys saw my predictions, I said I really thought they were going to give it to Cody. I was going to be happy to be wrong. And I am happy to be wrong. Like, Randy was the correct choice. After the show, Nick Aldis announced that Cody Rhodes and Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre would be having a WWE title match at WrestleMania on SmackDown, which could change the WrestleMania main event. Perhaps to Randy Cody. I think that would be pretty interesting. There's still a chance we can do that. But I will cover all of that later this week because I will be doing an official WrestleMania card predictions, which is different from the video I did a couple weeks ago, which is how I would book the WrestleMania card. This one is what I think WWE is actually going to do. But that comes later this week. Thank you so much, guys, for watching my Elimination Chamber reactions. Overall, I didn't think this was a bad show. I thought this was kind of just a meh show. Wasn't a great show. Wasn't a horrible show. The women's chamber match absolutely rocked. I love seeing that AJ Lee is the new Intercontinental Champion. Randy winning the chamber was the correct choice. The Seth Rollins reveal was pretty cool. So it wasn't a bad show. It was just kind of I guess you could say predictable show, and because of that, rather uneventful. But let me know in the comments what you guys thought of Elimination Chamber. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will see you in the next one.